Kelly.
And then...
So we did make it back. I know it was a real cliffhanger last time about whether or not we'd be back, but here we are. So only on Mondays. On what day is it today, by the way?
Thursday.
Okay, so it's Thursday, so that makes sense. That's fitting.
I feel like it was a Thursday last time.
I think it was. Is this a weekly podcast? I don't know what this is.
It happens when it happens.
So yeah, as you guys could hear from the little intro video, it's gonna kind of be like a theme, war, government, you know, what is it all good for? Really, absolutely nothing, as the song goes. So do you want to like tell them a little bit about how I don't know, like our little background story, or like what put us together to do this, or like before we get into everything, or no?
Or
No, like just the podcast in general, because I feel like we didn't explain that the first time.
Oh, what is the podcast about?
Like our background, situation, and you know why we wanted to
do a podcast. I feel like my main purpose to do this podcast is just to, I guess, speak.
Well, I feel like
that was bad. All right, hold on.
I mean, that is the purpose of a podcast.
Right. That was just very simple. Very short. It didn't explain anything.
It's the weed.
Right. It's more like just topics we feel like that could be somewhat negotiable. Not negotiable. Well, shit, wrong word.
Well, yeah, it could be negotiable, or it could be like just debatable, I guess.
Debatable, yes.
Yeah.
Just like something that you can and you might disagree or agree on.
Yeah.
Something that does not have a right or wrong answer.
And I feel like what was so intriguing, like to me, like what made me like really want to like do this podcast with you, like no matter like who listened, who ended up like listening, just because we're so like different in so many ways, and
right.
I feel like, but yet you are so open-minded, and like I feel like I am as well, that like we can have like genuine like conversations about pretty much anything. Neither one of us
and have each other's own opinions, honestly.
Yes.
And not hatred towards each other.
Right.
I guess, or
not even like we don't even get mad like when discussing shit. Like we can literally have open debate. So I feel like, and the whole like kind of topics that we were going to get into was mainly like stuff that, yeah, it's like you could have so many different kinds of opinions, but like it's fun to like take one perspective like of yours, because you're coming from a place of like a Zoomer,
right.
you know, somebody who's like way younger than I am, and then just also like our life experiences are so different, and then I'm coming from a place of like a millennial, and somebody who's more conservative. You're more like, I guess, left leaning.
My mom's age.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's like kind of what drew me to like wanting to do this a lot, because I think it's not really many people out there that like have this kind of like both sides perspective on these kind of topics. So
it would be very interesting just to gather a lot of people who think differently and to try and understand their opinions and why they see things differently. That's more of what the podcast is to see why you feel this, or why you see this topic a certain way and why I see it a different way, or how we can agree on it.
Exactly, and just, I think you might, like, who knows, like, one of us might end up changing the other one's mind, or just bringing more light.
Which does happen a lot.
It does.
Talking with you, I'm like, okay, that makes more sense to than what I was, like, looking at it. Like,
yeah, and a lot of it has to do with our ratchet-ass government.
Right.
Well, you know, it happens. It happens. English is hard, okay? It's the hardest language ever. I'm just going to put that out there. I mean, fun fact here, guys. This is breaking news. English is hard. So,
sorry,
what's up?
Can we, like, see the nails?
Yeah, they're right down there. See where it says, like, right here where we're...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. All right.
Just figuring it out, guys. Don't mind us. So, basically, this kind of like brings us back to like, you know, governments like propagandize a lot of shit. They want to like provoke a narrative. They want to, you know, get people thinking a certain way instead of like letting people
form their own opinions.
Yeah, and
I feel like before you can form your own opinion, you got all these other things that are forming it for you. Like, hop on the internet and you see one thing, and the person who posted it obviously is gonna feel some type of way.
Yeah, and then you got Google.
7 other videos saying shit too, and it's like you don't really know what's real. Everything is someone's opinion, honestly.
It is true, and none of this shit, like I think we said this in the first one too, like neither one of us is really right about anything. It's just what makes the most sense, You know, like
what
let's
we truly believe
hash
in.
out, yeah. Like,
What I like about having the podcast is y'all can come forward and tell us y'all's opinion, and that will probably change our mind, and
right.
probably do part 2 on it.
For
and
sure.
Got us thinking some different, like a different way, you know?
Yeah, dude, and like I think I don't know. I would love it if we could like build like you know, big enough like.
Right
not
now,
even like
I
big.
love it just for us.
I do too. And our 9 viewers per person. I'm so proud. Okay, but like no, but seriously, I think that it's just really cool to like reach people, but we're reaching each other. You know, like we're reaching out. We're reaching out and reaching inward. Okay.
I actually like this too.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cute. It's a cute look. So here we are. We're on episode 2 of our little like I guess you'd call it, you know, deep dives or just basically like a look into.
Shit that happens only on Mondays.
Only on fucking Mondays. So here we go, guys. We're looking at
subject.
We're looking at quite a picture here. So what are we looking at? These photos here. Bunch of bullshit, right?
I feel like what it looks like is the government's trying to fuck us.
Yeah. So
Look
look at that. Let's get into
that guy.
look at this guy up here with his finger. His finger's going to war. So okay, so let's start off. I guess we're gonna get to this guy, this little Vladimir Putin fella. But let's go into another handsome guy on the screen, and start with JFK, I guess, right? So let's get into him.
So a lot of the talk is JF Kennedy was assassinated
By like a random person, right? Like a normal person on the street.
Right, and it's like, do y'all believe that? Was it a random person or was it your government, guys?
Was it?
Who was it?
CIA.
And it's funny because like whenever they say, oh, this guy, the government did it, it's like you can't really, I don't want to say you can't believe it or not, but it's always like one of those things you're like, haha, you know.
You almost sound crazy. Or like,
yeah, you sound crazy, like why would the government do that to you?
Right.
But when you think about it, it's like, why wouldn't they do that?
Right.
They do a lot of shit.
And honestly, what a lot of people fail to realize, or just not even fail to realize, but like are not taught and don't really understand, is that the United States is the only country in the history, like written history of like human history that we have now on record, there's ever been a free country. And I say free in like parentheses, almost in a way. But governments have been known to be corrupt. They want to control their people. They want to have.
Government is based off of control.
Yeah.
I could understand like having some control over people because we're kind of nuts, and if we don't have a little order, then you know.
Yeah, but
we go off the roads a little bit. I mean, who's to say we aren't off the roads now? But
we
still.
are, yeah, for sure. But no, I get what you're saying. There is supposed to be like some form of government, but that's what made America so great in its conception, was that like it gave more power to the people, but the government was still there as a safety net.
Right.
But somehow it's grown to this point where it's like this disgusting, like
the government has more power than the people, honestly, because
Wait.
it takes so much for us to get anything. I mean,
Yep.
healthcare isn't even free.
Right.
Honestly, like.
And I mean, it's
I'm at that point where I'm about to lose my free healthcare.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's wild, dude. Like, but yet, and we could go into so many different points about that. Like, there's people like that, and that's a big argument for like the border too. Like, I don't want to get too, because it's not about the border, but like, all these illegals are coming into this country, and it's nothing to do with them. It's not that they're bad people. It's like, say that they're illegals, they're just literally coming into the country illegally, and if you know, alien is just meaning you're in a different country than the country you're born. I was an alien when I lived in France, but I went there legally. So I was, you know, but like, all this money, taxpayer money is going to this bullshit, and then the wars they were perpetrating in places like Ukraine, sending billions of dollars of weapons, like all that could be going to us, to people here. You know what I'm saying? So that's what got me so like tight about the government, is that like.
What's really weird about our government is we have no poor class, we just have middle class, and it's like we got to the point where you're either poor, not poor, but you're skimming by, or you're rich.
Exactly.
It's not okay for us to be living like that.
That's exactly right.
It's completely off topic about JF Kennedy. Not really, but
well, it kind of all like weaves together, because in the 50s, like whenever all this shit happened with JFK, it was better, and like this is when they kind of started chipping away at these freedoms and stuff, and like once the government got bigger and got like its hand into all these little honeypots, is whenever shit started getting fucked up. So like JFK was basically like fucking with the government's, MO. Like they were basically trying to, not stage a coup, but they were basically trying to get more power. And JFK was more of a nationalist. He was more of like, I don't want to say like Trump, because he wasn't. He was like a Democrat, but
And the people in a way?
he was for the people. Yeah, he wasn't for, and so the government didn't like that shit. So I'm sure, like, I don't know if you guys have heard, about any of this conspiracy theories, but it is pretty, like.
He kind of gives off for the people kind of vibe. Like,
Oh, he was great. We'll have to watch a video or something of him maybe, because he was hot. Like, let's be real. And she was hot too. Like that was another thing. They were like the first
hair, hat.
great combo of it all. So okay, so this story is from NPR, okay? I think it's just talking about the National Archives. So the National Archives has released the latest trove of government documents relating to President JFK's assassination just over 58 years ago. And that's crazy though, like the National Archives is another thing with our government. Like they release this shit, like there's certain documents with 9/11 that are still classified that they won't release those because they know that there's some shit in there that can get them caught up.
It's the fact that you have documents classified about certain events that it's supposed to be like a tragedy, not like
not a cover up, right? You would think.
Like why are you hiding stuff about this? What is there to hide, honestly? Like
Exactly. Like if everything was above board, and if this man was really killed by a random man on the street, like you don't think that's of the public's interest who elected this president, who elected this man who was very loved at the time of his death. He was like a well-loved president. And so it's kind of, that's another
I did
scandal.
watch one video about how like apparently he got shot, right?
Yeah, he got shot.
And then the guy who shot him got shot.
Yes.
And then the guy who got shot who basically died ended that man's life.
Yes.
He went crazy.
Isn't that wild?
And it's like, okay, hold up. So who is the fucking blame? Because y'all have so many people not there anymore. Like, it's like,
And
a lot of people ended up dying around J.F. Kennedy's.
And you know how like whole family ended up dying, right? You know about that, right?
I did not know.
His brother, who was also in politics, got killed shortly after he was killed. Jackie, I think, is the only one that like survived. But and then he had that son, his little baby son, that was at his funeral. His little baby boy, I think he was like 3 years old, who was like saluting his father. He got killed later on as an adult too. Like his plane went down with him and his wife. Like their whole family pretty much got killed. Like, and everyone thinks that it was part of this whole government cover-up.
It has to be. I mean, like, how is his family being
That's
not suspicious?
That's a whole other conspiracy theory. It's like looking into the Kennedys period. It's wild. Like once you start getting into all this shit,
yeah, the into the Kennedy shit. But I've never looked into it.
It's wild. It's a deep, dark rabbit hole. So, okay, so reading a little bit more from the NPR article, nearly 1,500 newly released documents are available on the archive's website here. They contain many memos from the FBI and other officials' meetings with informants, mostly of interest to historians and researchers. Okay. But no evidence is expected to emerge that would put in doubt the conclusion of the Warren Commission report that Lee Harvey Oswald was the lone gunman in Dallas in November 1963.
Right, see, I love how they say it was a lone gunman. That's not it's a question, honestly.
Yeah, and here's right. No, but you're right, because here's NPR telling us no evidence is expected to emerge. Like, how do you know that? How do you know that? And you're telling, like, this is the media. Instead of just like quoting the documents.
It's okay for him to be like the only gunman, but who put him up to it? Honestly,
who put him up to it? And then also, but like, where's the evidence for that? Like, where's the evidence to dispute? Because there's plenty of other like theories, like the man behind the fence. Like the man with the umbrella. I know you talked about that one before.
What drove this man to kill him? Honestly, that's how I see it. And what drove this man? Not this man, but what drove another man to kill him?
Right. Was there more than one gunman, though? I'm not convinced of that, honestly. I know this article is telling me that there's no evidence that there's...
My thing is, he could be placed as a gunman, and there could have been a whole different gunman.
And he
took the shot, and he went down for it. You feel me?
Yeah, because he said that. Did you read, or did you, when you were researching this, did you hear about, like, how he said that he was a patsy? Like, he kept saying that whenever he got arrested, which means he's, like, a fall guy. He kept like that. Passing is a word for a fall guy, like the old time term.
But that would make sense.
So he said that.
So the video I watched was basically explaining what is one of the how do you say, conspiracy theories, and that they feel like it's true. It was more like, it basically got into the guy who killed J.F. Kennedy, or who supposedly killed him.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Right. And what happened to him, and what happened to the other guy that killed him, you know?
Right. Which killed him like right after he was arrested. Like didn't even get to go on trial or nothing. Barely got.
And that guy went fucking crazy. But then it went into depth about how people who ended up seeing him in his cell, and there was no like, how do you say, nobody was watching him down there.
Yeah.
So nobody knows what happened to that man. Or why he was crazy, honestly.
Right. And why he would go and shoot. And he said I think that man, the one that killed Lee Harvey Oswald at the police station that day, he even said that he has no recollection of how he got down there. Like next thing he knew, he was basically shooting that man. Like so
That's
it's almost
what I'm saying. Apparently he was just like a really nut kind of person. And it's like,
or was he?
No, I think they drove him nuts. I think they did something to that man's brain to.
Yeah.
Basically, you can't kill everybody, because he ended up dying shortly after too. Not shortly after, but
because it just doesn't all add up. And I mean, it's very odd to me that like there can be so many
reporters died too.
A lot of people died.
And it's just like they all got shot or killed in one way or another. It doesn't make any sense.
And this was killing a president on live TV. So if this is like a true conspiracy theory, I mean, this is pretty major.
Now the umbrella man. Who is the umbrella?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Who's the man behind the fence?
What is the man behind the fence?
Watch, let me see if I can pull it up on this other tab here.
Man behind the fence.
JFK, man. Oops. See, English is hard. Because there's this whole other guy, and then they also said, okay, I know it must go fence, but I think it will still pull up. Okay, so right. Okay, this was basically the fence. So
you know what's funny? You see that right there?
This guy here?
Yeah. So on Netflix, there's a show called Umbrella Academy, and it just kind of makes me think of the guy who was behind the fence in one of the episodes.
Yeah, but it's so true though, because okay, there was like different places. Like this is the grassy knoll guy. So supposedly Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK by himself from a building, which was the Texas like school textbook or whatever like factory, right?
Yeah.
But then there was all these other, like the grassy knoll was another like area that they thought he could have gotten killed from. And I think this little map kind of breaks it down perfectly. There was 2 shots that I guess hit him. First shot just kind of like, I think was not the kill shot.
J.F. Kennedy came from this area.
Yep.
And he got shot and he got shot what?
So right here, and then this was where's the building? Like
So apparently, I watched another video where he got shot right as they pulled up to the umbrella map. It's like a symbol of death.
Yep. So this was where the umbrella man was. Like I think he was like right here, like right after the grassy knoll. There was supposedly somebody here that shot him on the grassy knoll, and then the Texas.
This map wouldn't be accurate if he got shot here. Then.
That's what I'm saying. Like how did
he would be down here if he got shot with the umbrella map?
Yeah.
But who knows if that's true.
And I also heard that there could have been somebody posted up on the bridge. Yeah, there's so many different things.
Because that's him bent over right there in that picture.
Where? This?
Yeah.
I think that was, I don't know, that one's kind of blurry, but let's see this one. Yeah, I think that was right after, because like she's freaking out. And she like jumped on the hood of the car, like that was the wildest part
Right
about the whole video. Did you watch the video?
I've never seen the video.
Oh, we have to watch it. Let's see if we can pull it up for this video, because...
Is that map accurate? Do you feel like that map is accurate?
Yeah.
Alright, okay, then leave the map and then pull up the video.
Okay.
You're diving into this conspiracy theory with us.
I know. We're kind of... This is like a real fucking...
JFK, sorry.
Ass a nation.
It has 2 asses in it.
Okay, I think this It does have two asses. Two big asses. Okay, so
Ass in a what?
ass in Asian. Kind of. I feel like there's a meaning there,
Yeah, of course.
What is
Another
the government-
conspiracy theory
right?
about your words. They're not real.
That is so true, though. You just said something
You
very.
ever young Nellie Connolly? Nellie is the widow of the
Not
former Texas
Larry
governor.
King.
I heard
yo.
a bunch of bullshit.
What?
That wasn't English to me. Whatever you said in the beginning.
Not Larry King, though. I want to see this fucking.
I love him in the B movie. That's where I know him from. That's my childhood.
Pins just
So they're-
fly up to his neck. And he slumps down, he says up.
He's already shot one.
One
Oh, they're not
word.
gonna show it, bro.
John is seated right in front of him.
Lord have mercy.
That was the last thing you heard.
Yes, there was just a second or two, and then I heard this noise. And it came from the back of me,
Oh, this
and
thing's
I looked
sitting in the
back
front seat.
toward the president
Umbrella Man's like right here.
and saw his
See
hands
the umbrella right
just
there.
fly up to his neck. And he slumped down, he says up.
He
One
didn't
word.
look. He just said,
John is seated right in front of him. And so I didn't know for sure, but it was a gunshot when I heard it.
What did you think it was? You didn't know.
It was just a noise. We had noises around. John knew it was a gunshot. And he turned to see the president, but see, the president was right behind him. He couldn't see him. So he whirled to the other
The
side,
governor of Texas
and he
said the
still
time.
couldn't see him. And in the process of moving back,
Right. Okay, this might be it. This might be it, actually.
he hit John
From the same place.
from the same place.
okay.
Here it comes. Here it
Did
comes.
John in the wrist?
No, it went through his,
Go back just a second.
Yeah.
below his shoulder, sliced out 5 inches of a rib, slipped through his lung, and came out in his chest, and landed
Man, why
right
did
to
you
his
say
knee.
that?
Below his shoulder, sliced out 5 inches of a rib, slipped through his lung, and came out in his chest, and landed, crushed his wrist that was on his knee, and landed in his leg.
How far back?
There you go.
Did John in the wrist?
No, it went through his,
I wanted to see that. It looked. I saw like
below his shoulder.
Like
He hit John.
From the same
Oh,
place.
right there? Yeah, I see it.
Did John in the wrist?
No, it went through his, below his shoulder, sliced out 5 inches of a rib, slipped through his lung, and came out in his chest, and landed, crushed his wrist that was on his knee, and landed in his leg. I pulled John down, quickly pulled it.
She did too much talking for me. A wiener.
If she did, that's not an appropriate time for her.
So inappropriate. How do I get on the dark web, dude? That's all I need to know is how.
How? Oh, you're asking how?
Yeah, not really.
I mean,
though.
can you trust the JFK.org site?
Yeah.
Or an EDU site? Because like that's your government, right?
EDU is like education, and yeah, fuck them.
Basically, so it's like okay.
SchoolTube. I don't know if SchoolTube's gonna have the unedited Zapruder film. If not, I can pull help from my. Oh, bitch, shoot. I should have done. Okay. Fuck. Okay.
This is how you poison it.
You know what, guys? Just don't mind. We might have to, we can always cut some of this out too, because I'm not tripping either. But I think this is worth. It's worth it. Okay.
A little too long. If you can't wait, I don't know what to say. Just chill.
Yeah, just chill. Light it up. This is the best part of the whole show right here.
What are these videos? Oh,
supposedly-
JFK Secret Society speech. What is that about?
What? Oh, these are okay. So BitChute's kind of like a more base like YouTube, I guess. Short. I want short. But so yeah, you can find like. Oh god. Yeah, maybe actually. Did I find it finally? And you guys we're all getting canes. Okay, let's.
This version zooms in on the image as much as possible without causing deterioration. President Kennedy is kept in center frame. This is only in slow motion.
That's his first.
No, he hasn't got shot yet. He's still waving at the people, still la-di-da. Right here is about when he got shot. Right there.
Oh.
When he reached up and he was like, what the
He's going down.
And she's like, what happened, dear? Here it comes. Ooh, brains. Dude, did I not tell you? Was that not fucking crazy?
That was from the front.
That's what I'm saying.
There ain't no way.
That is
was
what
from
I'm
the back.
saying.
If it was from the back, that would have destroyed the back of his head.
And do you see how it, like, he like
And,
knocked him
okay.
back, bro?
My thing is though, that
was
that
brains.
first video we watched,
Mm-hmm.
you had that bullet that we didn't even see come in. Remember that time I said go back?
Mm-hmm.
We did not see that come in.
And it could have
be
just been the
about
flashes
here.
on the film too. Like you see how the film's all like old school. This part is so nuts. Fucking dope.
That looks like it came from the fucking side like this way, like truly.
Is that not crazy? Like his whole head piece.
She got
out.
the fuck out of there. She like, hold up.
No,
let me
she
get
was
this
trying to
shit.
grab his brains. That's what.
Oh, what?
Yes, that's what she was doing. The guy who was on the back, the Secret Service guy on the back, that's what he said she was doing. She was grabbing his like brain matter.
She's like, hold up. Oh,
I'll put this back inside for you.
Alright.
I mean, that's a real bitch. She's a down ass.
She was tripping. She did not believe what the fuck was going on.
Imagine that. Seeing your husband, the president.
Who was that?
Who's, listen.
It wasn't
do we-
Marilyn Monroe, right? She was the prostitute.
What, Marilyn Monroe that shot him or Marilyn Monroe in the car?
She shot him.
Because that's the real conspiracy.
She could have shot him.
Marilyn
You never
Monroe.
know. She should have been that bitch. Because, like,
Hey.
the president left her. Come on.
We're starting the conspiracy right here and now.
Right. Because that is the truth, honestly.
Marilyn Monroe.
killed J.F. Kennedy because he was fucking with other bitches and he didn't choose the right bitch.
We don't care what y'all say. It happened just like that.
Shit looked like he got shot from the front.
Yeah, because this thing is in the back. This is where Homeboy was supposedly killing him at, all by himself. And his car was driving this way.
No,
Yeah.
because he hasn't been in this area. Or at least in this. That would make sense for that guy behind the fence to do it. Now for the umbrella man, no, because that's too close. But over in this area.
Man, yeah.
Fence man, maybe. I feel, yeah, maybe. But somewhere around here. Or
And
here
okay.
this way. Because the way it shot him was like somewhat diagonal a little bit.
But why does it say shot 2 and then shot 3? Like, where's shot 1?
I don't believe there was, right, I feel like there was that one shot we saw, and I believe it was up here. I don't think this map is really accurate to where the shots were at. They're trying to play.
But, see, this is the grassy knoll, because you can kind of see in this picture, like, the car's driving this way.
I feel like this much was.
Well, it might not be exactly accurate, but for the most part it is, because the school depository...
No, the location is, and where they're trying to say he got shot is probably.
But the distance, you mean?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like the way he got shot was just not. I've seen this video one time on YouTube where they were showing how somebody got shot and it was a test, like you know how the brains would be splattered through different angles of
Right.
and how far you are, especially like it's really weird.
Yeah, they can figure all that shit out.
Yeah, so it's not much, but that looked to me that looked like he was shot.
Have you ever seen someone's brain come out of their head like that?
No, that was
I never have
one
either.
of. Well, I've seen videos on Instagram like really gruesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the really, I don't want to say cartel, but I guess really bad people.
Well, yeah, okay, I've seen someone like on accident, but it's almost like a train wreck, like cartel video, I think, or it was like a Islam video of like somebody getting their head cut off, but I couldn't stay through, like I could not, like, I don't like
Okay.
it.
Well, I was seeing the video, I've seen videos where they chop their skins off, and I was like, yeah, I can't really stay through that, where they try and butcher their arms off with a shitty butcher knife, and it's just like torture.
And
or they let dogs go at them.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I can't.
See, one of the something my mom used to tell me that in her country is they chop people up and they barbecue them and they give it to their dogs. And that's how you get rid of people. Like, what better way to get rid of a person, honestly, than to dispose of the animal who also chews up bones?
But they could eat all the bones. Like, they'd eventually
No.
find people bones in your yard or some shit, you know?
Why throw it in your yard? And also, it's really, really not, how do you say it, third ward down there? Like,
Yeah.
so, it's not like they care, because who runs this shit? Not the cops.
Yeah, if it's not the
Not your
U.S.,
government.
they don't give a fuck. You know, like most governments and other third world countries, or even, you know, even just countries like less than ours, don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Like,
I believe they killed JF Kennedy, and I believe so because maybe he was different and it's not something they believed in. And I guess it does happen a lot because honestly, I feel like I can back it up with a man who wanted to fucking end slavery and he got killed.
yeah.
And the more you try to change your government and side with something they feel like is going to lose them money, it's not okay.
It is not okay.
I feel like it's easy to kill people, but you have a lot of people watching you kill somebody, you're not going to get away with it as much as you keep trying to cover it up.
Nope. Let's just listen to this man speak for. Or is
I feel like we got to go to
the next one?
let's
Let's just hear him because he has a cute voice too.
Okay. That's acceptable. Let's find out.
If you want to eat healthy,
What?
eat your
Okay, I
best.
thought this was something
You've got to try.
somebody else.
You want to use our
You want to eat her.
Okay. Okay. It's okay too.
I mean, it's just that's what it said.
He was a young, charismatic leader elected to office during one of the most turbulent times in American history. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our...
I hear him say some stuff. If not, we'll just
I love
By
it.
this achievement,
nuclear testing everywhere but underground.
with our courage and understanding enlarged by this achievement, let us press onward in quest of man's essential desire for peace.
Number 3, integrating the University of Alabama. Kennedy's public support of Martin Luther King Jr. was a deciding factor during his presidential campaign. Once in office, JFK's
He
administration...
was supporting Martin Luther King.
Yeah, but I could red pill you on Martin right now too, but I'm not gonna do it right now.
Red pill me on that. Hold on, just do it in 5 minutes. Red pill me on him in 2 minutes.
Martin Luther King, he had a good idea at first, but then he started moving more into like communism basically, and trying to like encourage people to.
There is a theory, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that is Martin Luther King switched with Malcolm X. And Malcolm X was more of somewhat of a violent person.
and then he
it
became
kind of-
peaceful.
Yeah.
Towards the end, yes,
And then
that's true.
Martin Luther King was the opposite.
That
He
is-
was very peaceful
Yep.
and let's do this, but I guess I'm assuming the more life went on with him, he became
Yeah.
kind of like not a good
Corrupt.
guy.
Yes,
Right.
you're absolutely right. Yep. See, red pilled.
administration made significant efforts to ensure the civil rights of African Americans. Nonetheless,
I should just listen to the fucking video. Let the video talk.
You don't remember? Okay.
the racial segregation of schools remained an issue. Tensions boiled over in Alabama on June 11, 1963, when Governor George Wallace made his so-called stand in the schoolhouse doors, attempting to prevent 2 black students from being admitted to UA. Kennedy responded by federalizing the Alabama National Guard, and Wallace was ordered to step aside. The president then addressed the nation, stating the civil rights
I feel like JF Kennedy might have been killed because of this too. And
Yeah.
it's like he was different from America, and a lot of people did not want
No.
that. And a lot of these people, I'm gonna say, are white people in power.
And they've been corrupted by a
They-
bigger system.
They were, yeah, because America fell into the whole slavery kind of thing too. And I'm not saying America started slavery because we did not start
We didn't.
slavery. But we did decide to go across the fucking country and take people and make them our slaves, which was not okay, you know?
No slavery is ever okay
Ever.
at all.
And for America to make a system off that and make profit, and big profit, because the whole South was down for slavery. Like,
Yeah, and but I just feel like what's going on now is so far removed from slavery. Like slavery was horrible, but now it's become like our leaders have gotten to the point where they're like coordinating against the people, like for this globalist regime.
I don't feel like now it's against just black people and slavery.
It's
Now that
everyone.
yeah, it's against everyone.
Yeah.
But I feel like back then, during this time, it was mostly against black people because obviously this guy, you know.
Yeah, there was a lot of fucked up shit, and it's the same thing with like kind of like how
Sorry,
who is
continue.
that guy?
I forgot what he said.
He looks like a douche though.
But he was a jackass standing in front of the door waiting like
Yeah,
comes in.
look
right.
all alone too. Like you look dumb.
Right, and then for
was much of
I know, like you look dumb.
so, and that's just pure hatred, honestly. And for Kennedy to want to change that is not going to fly with a lot of people. And I I feel like that's one of the reasons he did get killed.
Yep.
A lot of reasons he did, and mainly for change and for peace. I guess is what he stands for. And
See, this is a big part of it too. Cuba. Like
right.
There was a Cuban Missile Crisis, and this is one of the main
Solution to the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Our goal is not the victory of might, but the vindication of right.
He then deployed a military blockade to quarantine Cuba and prevent more weapons from being delivered, and demanded the existing weapons be dismantled.
What that means to me, basically what he said is, we're not trying to be strong, we're trying to be right and help.
Exactly.
And I guess America was big arms and big war. We have the best army, we have the best control, we have the best people. Go America, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it was.
Right.
And it sucks because Go America hated half of their fucking people. Like,
And the thing is, like, why couldn't we have just stopped there? Like, okay, we like, why did we have to then go on and then, like, it was like
take over
greed.
other people, honestly.
Yeah, greed took over, and it's just like he was trying to like he was trying to like subdue all that and just be like, look, like
I feel like we shouldn't have been involved in other people's problems. And a lot of problems that cause, us fucking problems. And one of the problems is the border.
Yeah.
Because you said people can't come in and then you stop them from coming in.
Well, yeah, I mean, like just what any other country does, but it's like
America was more like, yes, I want to help you, we're gonna do this, but you owe me.
But that's the thing. That's why we never should have got into it. But then I don't know. We're gonna have to like make that a whole other topic. That'd be a really good one actually. Because I think we have, pretty different views on that. But I think it could also be a really interesting conversation and another moment, in time. But let's see what the very last thing he says here. Or maybe it's nothing. But just.
Countries dismantling the offensive nuclear missiles in question. Number 1, delivering his inaugural address. After winning one of the tightest elections in almost half a century, John F. Kennedy appeared before a nation divided by civil rights issues and fearful of a foreign superpower to deliver his first speech as President of the United States on January 20th, 1961. In what was the first inaugural address televised in color, President Kennedy spoke directly to the American public, calling for unity within the country, and asked international allies for cooperation towards peace. Ultimately, the sentiment that closed out JFK's inaugural speech has since come to define not only John F. Kennedy's presidency, but also his legacy.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Loves it. Okay, so ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. Which I guess can kind of bring us into the next topic, right? Because what our country can do for us is something like this. Is a 9/11 moment. So what do we think about this conspiracy theory?
Well, when I'm looking at it now, with 9/11 seems like this hatred all over again.
All over.
And not towards just, yourselves, it's more directed towards your race again. Like, I feel like, they were blaming, who were they blaming for 9/11?
Islam?
Right.
Like the religion is. Well, like the thing with that was is that like the people that supposedly did it, okay, quote unquote, it was supposedly Bin Laden's group, right? Or Bin Laden's like Al Qaeda or whatever. Terrorist group who believed in, and this is the real thing. Radical Islam is a real thing, and it should be extinguished from this country because they believe in killing people. They believe in killing Americans. Like they hate Christians. Like they have radical Islam is a very hateful thing. Now there's Islam, like just regular, like Islamic people who practice a faith that's not so hateful as the radicals, believe. But the thing was that like it was perpetuated on a lie, and like a lot of people come to find out, like the 20 people that were on those planes that day. Oh no, this is wild. This will blow your mind.
Okay, hold on. So when I first heard about 9/11, it was more of a terrorist group went and they crashed into the Twin Towers buildings at 2 different times. Twin Tower buildings fell, blah blah, big disaster, and then it went out. America went out to go find them and kill them, whatever,
Yep. And that is the narrative that we were all sold, right?
Right. What I ended up learning later on, not too long ago, is Navy SEALs went out and killed him, right?
Who? Bin Laden?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And
They go real quick in and out of there.
that's a
In
good
and out
voice,
kind of
too.
situation. And I feel like they probably just wanted to take him down and then blame the whole thing. Give it a reason to take this man down. Even if he did or didn't do it, you know?
Yep.
And that was probably, if that is true, it would be very shitty of America to put that stereotype on these people as they're going to target us and then blow us up, which causes wars, you know?
Exactly. And the
A lot of
wars.
stereotypical bullshit on race is what causes hate and what causes us to go to war.
See, I don't even think it's race though. I feel like there's such like a big like I don't know. I'm trying to understand that perspective. I really am. I feel like
I feel like it's power hungry though.
it's
like,
wealth.
okay,
I don't
so
feel like it has
because-
anything to do with race because they will perpetuate hatred against any race of people. Like look at
Right.
China enslaving Uyghur Muslims right now. Like
But who had right, okay, but that's still racism. Like regardless of the people. You know?
I think it's more about power. And yes, look, that in that situation is about race. But I feel like the 9/11 thing. I don't know.
I understand how
I
you
think
could direct it more to power than race.
It was
because
two
it
birds
is
with one stone. You
It
know.
is taking advantage of people who are less fortunate and people who
Just
who
to
you can blame shit on.
Right.
Or who you can say look bad. And honestly, I feel like Americans are dumb. Don't get me wrong.
They are.
But a lot of us are fucking dumb. We're not raised right. Honestly.
No, they really. It's so
Come on.
true. And
Yeah,
just
it's so true. As an American,
we're
come
so
on.
indulged. You know that like we don't look into
We're
this shit.
Americans. Come on, like
America.
America. Come on, bro.
Listen, I am proud to be American though.
I am proud
no
to be an
lie.
American, but we are one of a kind,
We are one of a kind.
truly.
We are.
And
So true.
I don't even know where I was going with this.
But God bless America.
God, yeah, the fact that I just
So listen, she just got patriotic.
shirt gets me all the fucking
Do you know who
time.
these people are though?
Yes, you told me last
Okay,
time.
good.
Joe
I'm glad we
Biden
told
and
you.
AOC.
Yes, your
And
favorite.
it's funny, but
Not Joe Biden. Fuck him.
I'd be damned if somebody sneaked my hair like that.
I know. And you know the crazy thing is he's done it multiple times to multiple different women. That creepy fuck.
I am.
So,
Alright.
one thing I do want to show you, just, I know, like, we kind of, like, went off on a God Bless America tangent there, but, so there was these 20...
I lost my subject and where I was going in.
No.
So it's fine.
I
you
love
know.
the place that it
When we
went.
listen to this, I might, when I listen to it, I'm gonna be like, okay, now I know where I was going, but high moment.
But
Just
it,
like,
yeah, it went where it
very
needed to go.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. So there was these 20 hijackers, right? And they tried to blame it on Al-Qaeda and Bin Laden's people. That's why I had to go in Afghanistan, fight these people. But then come to find out, these men were all like Saudi Arabian. And the conspiracy theory there is with Bush and the Saudis. Like, it goes really,
Sorry,
really
it's
deep.
funny how you're trying to blame it on one race and it's not race, but like
One nation, and then like it's
ethnicity, and it's another one. You feel me? Is that the right word?
no,
I believe
because
so.
because they're all like Middle Eastern or whatever. They're all like Islamic. Like
Right.
Saudi Arabians were just from one country, and then Al Qaeda's from a different country. But they're
Okay,
all like
so they're
brown
different,
skinned
right.
people, yeah.
Right, of course,
Like,
but like
in the
they're
Middle
different.
East.
How, yeah.
But would you call like I guess ethnicity is that
What
is
I'm
that
saying
country
is-
to country?
What I'm saying is racism is grouping all these people together. Like, hey, these Iraq people did this shit, and it's not.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
feel like it's okay to do that because you're grouping a whole bunch of people, and that's where people get it wrong. You see people who are and a lot of stereotypical shit is the hijabs.
Yeah.
A lot of that is different for different reasons. You
Yeah.
know what they're wearing. And then you see one wearing this and you're like, oh my god, they're gonna fucking blow up the school or some shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
And
no.
it's because of certain events that happen
Mhm.
and it causes racism.
Yeah.
Like, well, not mine.
And this is man, we're going so deep. This is probably gonna be like a 5-hour podcast, but like
I have to use the bathroom, so you're gonna stay with them.
okay, I got this. But it's just if you really look into like the connection with George Bush and like the Saudis, it's wild because I mean they said that these people were Al Qaeda. They said that these people came from Afghanistan. That's why we had to go in Afghanistan and find Bin Laden. But yet, come to find out, they had these connections to this whole other country. This country that like we actually had, I guess you could say, good relations with. And so this article is from The Intercept. They're just basically talking about that issues still lingering 20 years after the 9/11 attacks have been as persistent or as emotionally wrenching for the families as the question of whether Saudi Arabia provided funding and other assistance for the worst terrorist attack in American history. So just the fact that they're, and here's the two best friends right here, this picture right here, with the King of Saudi Arabia and George Bush. So there's so much, like, just content you can really, like, consume on the 9/11 conspiracy theory, and I would definitely suggest that you guys go and check everything out. We're just here to kind of, like, touch on it today, but, I mean, George Bush is a piece of shit, and I truly believe that, you know, this was planned for a more nefarious, you know, reason, and I think, like, Lynn and I were kind of hitting it on the head when it has to do with, like, war, and whereas it has to do with going after a certain group in order to perpetuate a narrative and keep people kind of, like, mad at that group, so they'll stay kind of, like, jacked up and ready to be in this war with you, when really, you guys, like, our president should be taking care of Americans, not, you know, trying to get us, you know, riled up so we can go into the next war with a country that we don't even, we will never be visiting, and we will never even have interactions with. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know, we should not be going into all these foreign nations, getting involved in their shit just because our government comes on here and tries to basically stir us all up into a frenzy. Sounds kind of familiar, kind of like the COVID narrative. It stirs us all up into a frenzy just so they can fight a foreign war that'll, like, basically put billions in everyone's pockets. I mean, it's gross. It's, like, really gross and corrupt stuff. So,
Where are we at?
so basically just saying, like, how, you know, yeah, the war thing, like, it was all about going after a certain group of people, and it kind of, like, it was used as a way to, like, jazz Americans up and, like, get us to go against, because now, how they're kind of trying to get us to all go against each other, they were doing that back in the day, whenever there was the Vietnam War, there was the Afghanistan War.
I feel like a lot of this it ends up being race related, because, and I hate
Not race,
I
I don't
hate to
think.
say that it's not
fine.
race
I mean, we
related,
could,
but
yeah.
I feel like a lot of it ends up, you know, race begins to be a problem, and that's where racism comes from. Is where you direct hate towards people who aren't like you.
But that's so old, though. It's always been like that. And honestly, the mixing that we have, and I don't want to, like, be misunderstood here, because this is kind of like, this is getting into my Nick Fuentes shit here, but, so,
I'm sorry. I think of it like this. Let's say America and Mexico. Mexicans did something to fucking America pissed them off. Now Americans are gonna blame every other Hispanic out there that looks like a fucking Mexican, because I guess we're kind of dumb. You know, we can't be able to tell them apart, which is, I guess, is okay.
but it's also,
it comes from racism. Like, not it comes from racism, but you know, that's hatred. A lot of people will be racist too. A lot of Hispanics, if that did happen, even if they were just Mexicans. You feel me?
yeah, I don't know. I think there's racial bias. There's natural
That could
racial
happen.
biases,
Yeah, that
you
could
know.
happen in 9/11 too. And if it did happen, it would be horrible, because to say that all these people, for America to hate all these people from that place, is
But we
really
didn't.
shitty.
We did, not all of us did, and it
Well,
wasn't,
not all of us did, because some of us have common sense.
yeah.
But some of us don't, and that's where the racism.
And those people are allowed to
And
vote.
racism is just to target people, and it's hatred. That's
Yeah.
what it comes down to.
Yeah, it is, and that's kind of like what I was saying, though, like, that in the
It
history,
causes hatred from their side too, because they look at Americans and be like, you're fucking hating us for something that we didn't even do. Like,
but
even
it
if
goes
every-
the same way, though,
Right.
like, like, we didn't used to mix, like, and I'm not saying that's bad, like,
What's really bad? Sorry, keep interrupting. What's really bad is people hating each other for what other people did. If you don't think that way, and the person you're interacting with does not think that way, then it is okay to interact with them. But you
Yeah.
don't have to be racist towards other people because of past events.
and that's simple-mindedness, in my opinion, like, I don't know, because it's like, yeah, you're gonna take out something, and I mean, like, I had an ex that did me, like, so fucking bad, but it doesn't mean that, like, I'll never deal with another, like, black man ever again. I'll never deal with this race again or with that race again. You know, it's like you have to be able to differentiate. And my thing is that like there was no mixing, so it really is in our human nature to have been with the people that we looked like. It just was. We were like separated
Which
geographically.
makes sense, yeah.
It makes. I mean, I'm not saying it's neither good nor bad. Like you can think what you want to think. For me, I think it's good that we've mixed, but I think that also there needs to be some common sense, and that is seriously lacking in this world. There's stupid people who cannot see past their nose and see how they interact in real world society. And like, really, you have to be honest with yourself. And like, do you really think that this is such a racist country? Because you should go to some other countries, you know, and see how those people really like. China, so racist. There's so many different countries that like will treat black people or brown people, or even some countries that will treat white people. South Africa, their black people are so racist against white people. It's like turning into a genocide down there. And that's true. That's where kind of like you can kind of, I guess, like people start saying reverse racism and shit, but it's not. It's just racism.
Racism and racism.
Right.
It's hate towards a certain kind of people because of
their skin color.
Or the belief of what they are.
Right, or their religious beliefs, whatever, who they are, what they are.
What
and
they represent, honestly. Like,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They put this, definitely the 9/11 attack was them, and they put this whole kind of face on, what is it, Iraq? Or it is...
Or just the people in the Middle East, like whoever it was, like whoever perpetrated this shit. People that look like this man right here, sitting next to this evil crook Bush. You know, but
they don't look at him and be like, he's a terrorist.
But this man really was. I mean, he really was, but yes, I know what you mean. People that look like him, you might think a certain way, but, you know, that's natural.
I've never seen anybody and thought, okay, they're going to grow up in public school because...
I wouldn't either unless I got sketchy vibes from him. Like, if you're creeping me out, I don't care what you're wearing. You're just creeping me the fuck out, you know?
I felt that. No,
you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I go based on...
One guy wearing, I'm sorry, off topic, he was wearing purple sweater and like camel pants with diamonds in it. Just kind of walking there like this. Whoa.
Sounds creepy.
Just walk around you.
Right? Like, I mean, do you need boots or pants, sir? Like, what's going on there?
That's what you tear up shit.
I mean, and speaking of pants being too tight and balls being itchy, that leads us perfectly right into our next topic. So, guys. Balls.
Right.
Balls being itchy, pants being too tight, poop coming out of the, just all kinds of wrong happenings with this man here. So, did you guys know that there's a war?
I, for one, did not. Again, I did not be on the internet. And
That's good. God bless you.
right, I kind of like, just, I would be one of those people, like, if we were dying, I would not know that we were dying. I'd be
I'll
watching
text
TV,
you.
And that'd be like my last moment is like watching South Park.
Yeah. A missile goes through your window.
Like,
Yeah. I kind of wanted to like that.
Just
Yeah.
did not know what was going on. Because honestly, I did not know what was happening. And
You're happy and alive 1 minute, and the next, boom.
yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. It is sad, but it's kind of like that's supposed to die, in my opinion. Just be taken immediately, dude. I feel like no pain, no nothing. But anyways, let's stop talking about Joe Biden. No, I'm just kidding. We want Joe Biden to live to be 150.
Not necessarily. Nobody should live that long. Unless it's me.
They're biblical. So, but God bless you for not being on, because God bless
I'd be
you.
damned if somebody lived that long. Like, I don't think
Especially
my
him.
brother could stand that. Like, why you keep living?
Yeah, why do you keep existing?
Why? Why?
That's what I say about Joe Biden every day. But
That's Putin, right?
No.
That's Joe Biden. I knew he looked familiar.
he's Putin in this picture, but this is Joe Biden, Putin, his pants. So, this is from NPR as well. This is an article about the war. I don't. He deserves to be offended.
Yeah, a little bit.
He deserves to be just. He's like Justin Trudeau.
I expected more.
Oh, I expected nothing less. Actually, I expected him. Oh man, I just didn't. I guess I didn't expect him to steal the election the way he did. But that's a whole nother topic. So, so this war, right? This might be like possible World War III territory we're getting into here. So I'm going to kind of tell you my interpretation of it, and I'm not this like geopolitical mathematician. What happened? Oh shit. Oh. So I'm not this expert, but I'll just kind of like break it down, and I want to hear yours. thoughts. Is he okay?
Sorry.
I don't think he felt a thing.
No,
We
he
have a
did not.
wiener dog here also, guys. He's
I'm
the
sorry.
third co-host.
I'm looking at some message too. Go ahead, continue.
Oh, Lord. Okay,
Oh,
so...
Lord, it is. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's not talk about that right now because it's gonna kill me, my vibe. But so basically, okay, here's the thing. The thing with Russia and Ukraine, they're way over there, right? They're like a whole another continent than us. They,
To look at that message.
what the hell is going on?
My phone is tripping and I just want to read it. Alright, hold up. Let's finish the podcast and we'll go. and
Yeah, thank you.
deal with work.
Oh God, report this comment. Okay. Anyways, so I don't know. I'll try to make it quick. So basically, like.
The conspiracy theories got us, y'all.
Well, that was a whole nother lane. This is basically just like a little extra, a little cherry on top. I just wanted to talk about this because it was important and it's been on my mind for the last 2 days, ever since like Ukraine officially invaded them. But the thing is that like a lot of people's going in on like, you know, Biden has been perpetuating this war for weeks on American media and on our fucking propaganda network of different, you know, channels and shit. And it's just been like so clear to see what's been going on. It's been pissing me off for weeks now, and I feel like he has brought this war onto the American people, and now we're going to be forced to go and fight in Ukraine, where we have no interest, in my opinion.
That's it. America shouldn't even be in their problems.
We should not be.
I don't think countries should be in that. I believe in
Unless-
help, but like,
Yeah.
who are you trying to help? Because
Right.
we are both in the wrong, and we believe both. I believe Russia and the Ukraine, so that's what together.
Yeah.
Believe different things, and I can't say who's right, who's right, because I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Honestly.
Ukraine used to be part of Russia.
Right. Of
So
course.
for the longest time, like Ukraine has not been this like great, awesome sovereign nation. Like United Kingdom has existed forever. Russia, China has existed forever. We are a young country, but we're fucking awesome. So like that's why we're kind of like in the ballpark. But like basically like
we're always in people's shit, which is
Yeah.
That's the thing that's bad about America.
we lost our way a
Right.
long time ago.
We
But
want to go fight and spend money on guns and bullshit when we can.
ever since World War II, I feel like they've been trying to like recreate or like basically like reimagine the moment of like World War II when like all of our glory came to us and like we supposedly won this war, and there's conspiracy theories behind that. But basically like the thing with Russia and Ukraine that pisses me the fuck off is that Biden has shady ties to Ukraine. So now here we are in the midst of possible World War III, where our economy is pretty much could bust wide open at any moment. We're fucked really as a country, economically, psychologically, on many different levels. We're fucked. And here's Joe Biden, former Vice President Joe Biden, coming in with his dirty crackhead son. They were caught, like basically dealing with Ukraine in a shady way years ago, whenever he was the Vice President, and basically was paying his son to do a job that like he had no qualifications to do.
Yeah.
That was a Ukrainian company was paying him money, which looks shady because as a former vice president, your son's over in a different country getting paid an exorbitant amount for a job that he really shouldn't be paid that much to do. It looks like you're paying for access to the vice president of the country, of the United States. That's what it looks like, and that's what was implied, basically, in this whole situation. So now here we are years later, and Ukraine needs protection from Russia, when Russia is just trying to basically... There's people in Ukraine right now that want to be a part of Russia. They consider themselves Russian, because at one point Ukraine was part of Russia. Not that long ago either.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they want to join back into Russia, and Russia's already accrued different portions of land to bring some of those territories back into itself.
So they want Ukraine.
They want Ukraine. Some Ukrainians want to be part. Some Ukrainians want to be sovereign. It's just kind of like, so that's the
One of those
disagreement.
things, yeah.
So to me that has nothing to do with us whatsoever. You know, because yeah, like there's some people that want to be sovereign, but guess what? You know, sorry.
I would say if you want to be from Russia, go to Russia. I
Yeah.
don't know what to say. Like,
I don't know. It's
that's
complicated.
something, right? Very complicated.
But it looks weird because now Biden's protecting Ukraine for what? He's going so hard for Ukraine for what? It looks like because he's owing them a favor.
That would make sense.
You know, that's what is being implied right now, and it looks like and it stinks. I mean, just really bad. Like after everything that went down with like his son's laptop, which I'm sure you didn't really get into too much of that because that was a whole story that was buried. But there's just all kind of corruption with his family that is deep, and it goes into the deep state. And if people really research the Biden family, like you will be able to see what's really been going on behind the scenes. This man's been in politics his whole entire life. He's a disgusting, dirty politician, and he just portrayed himself as something different, and the media helped put this man into a stolen office. And now we're about to be in World War III. Gas prices are fixing to go up. All the prices of all goods are fixing to go up, more so than they already have. Our country looks weak because of him. I mean, it's turning to be like a real
We have an
joke.
old man that's president.
Who's like dementia.
Old white man. That's how it seems, honestly. I don't know. Sorry.
But he's
y'all,
just a
it's
gross thing. Like it's just like it has nothing to do with him being white. Like I feel like because look at
I
his
guess-
vice
okay,
president.
how do you
That
say?
stupid bitch.
I grew up with that's been pushed into my head that white people are kind of bad.
Yeah.
So it makes sense like for you to say that. Yeah, I'm a change day. Try it. Because
No.
you're not a bad person. I don't look at you as like
Yeah.
old white man. He's
I'm
just
not.
he's like one of those stereotypical white guys that
Yeah. But it's not. It shouldn't be like about that. Like I feel like our media has
of
pushed
course,
that into
sorry,
overhead.
Yeah.
But
And
no,
that
I'm not
is,
blaming you. I'm not.
No, of course.
you
I
know,
should be better.
It's
That
like
is
yeah.
Joe Biden. That guy.
No, our media should be better. Honestly, our media
Yeah,
should
I
fucking
bet
be
you
better.
there's people out there who thinking like me. So
They do.
call
Even
y'all
Ja.
out, call myself out.
Dude,
That
do you
is
know?
the guy.
Do you know that Ja? Like she texted me last night about the Russia-Ukraine thing. She literally said at like 3 in the morning when I was up kind of like already couldn't sleep about it. She texted me about the thing, and I was like, oh my god! I was like, dude, like why are you still up? And she
You
was
still
here.
going to
Keynes? Yeah, we're about to wrap it up.
not Canes. We could get boots. No, we're still going to Marco.
Oh, next week? Yeah, we
I
can.
took off already.
You did? Yeah. Yeah, I'm off soon
I
too.
didn't write that money.
So anywho,
I hate. Let me shut up. Let me see.
there's gonna be white people there later. You know,
Not
right?
white people. I was talking about something else.
No, I'm just saying there's gonna be white people. But no, I mean like I hate that, and I really do hate that. But I will never apologize for being white. I don't feel bad for being white. I don't
I would
think
not apologize for being your race whatsoever.
I'm not ever.
I'm saying
Yeah.
white. I'm saying like in general.
Right.
You're born
No
as
one
what you're
should.
born as, and you should never be ashamed or apologize or should change.
For any part of you, really.
To do, yeah, to be different.
Yeah.
And remember that guy we were talking about with the Gage, and it was the whole guy who changed himself into Asian. I don't believe that's right.
It's not.
You're made who you are. You should not go to an extent to make yourself look different. I guess it's weird.
Certain plastic surgeries, like I'm okay with, obviously, but
Certain
that
that's a
it's
whole
certain
different
I've
topic.
had.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, I think with
That
him, he
should
was
be
trying to
something.
change his race, right?
I feel like you're going too hard for something you should not be doing.
Yeah.
Like, be yourself. Be your own.
Yeah.
If you want to look like that, do makeup. That's what makeup is for, you feel me? Unless
Right.
you want to spend that money.
Or
know
just
what?
be you. Find yourself. How about that? How about you
Right.
work on you?
I don't feel like that's finding yourself when you're going to the expense to look like something completely different.
Yeah.
Like that's, I feel like plastic surgery is stemmed into somewhat an addiction or a problem.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, get your nose and titty jobs if you want to get an ass job, go for it. But like, if you get the whole face
Different.
change and shit, like,
Yeah.
you could kill somebody and it looks so different. You
And
know,
it's wild. He
they
like
really,
literally went in and said, "Make me look like this one Korean guy," and he like
And this guy did that.
yeah.
That's trippy. I cannot do it. Imagine going outside and somebody look like you.
Yeah. Doctors are
Y'all
fucked.
didn't look like you.
Well, y'all did. Yeah. I mean that's natural though.
No.
You know. But anywho.
Twins.
I know. I love how we got from like the war in Russia and Ukraine to like talking about Ollie London, the fucking Korean boy, or wannabe Korean boy. So, just I know we'll have to wrap this up because I'm sure this is like 5 hours in already. But
I feel like it's like 40 minutes.
I think it's over an hour. Let's see. Let's check in with our. We're at an hour and 4. So okay, guys. So yeah, please like comment about the topics. I might like break this video up. It's like 3 different small
No.
videos. You like it as one?
If y'all could stand a whole hour and something minutes of us talking, y'all real.
Yeah.
Honestly, because
I'll
I'm
probably
gonna try
listen.
and listen, and I don't even know if I can go through an hour and something minutes of hearing myself talk.
listen to the whole thing.
I could probably. I'm just giving myself less credit.
I don't know why. It's like interesting. It's like
Yeah, listen to this. Don't listen to it. No pressure.
right.
That's why. We'll be back.